It's Christine Wilson and Saphira Galoob, and you'll thank us later. Tune in every week and hang out with us because we're a lot of fun.
And no topics off the record, we decided. We are open to talking about everything together with a bit of a sense of humor, a lot of self-forgiveness, a lot of grace, and always being wiser on the other end. Bring it on, girls and boys.
You know what? You'll thank me later that I'm telling you about this. You'll thank me. They're going to hate us, Saphira. It's going to be nuts. Okay, so Saphira, I know you have like a morning call every day, and my team has a call every Monday. And I got on our call this morning, and I'm a little embarrassed, but I did have a smile on my face while I had this big rant about the fact that I've learned about this new concept on TikTok, and I am feeling burdened by it. And the concept is mental load. And the reason I had this breaking point this morning is because I had this aha moment that I often carry the mental load for lots of people. And that's my husband, my sons, my work team, my parents. And it's not that one of them is out of line or out of order, but the accumulation of so many people who come to me for information, ask questions, problem solve, and in my opinion, usually without trying to solve it on their own. And the fact that I'm not a super patient person, it's like I just was like, enough. I can't take it anymore. And I'll give you, Saphira, I'm going to give you an example. So you can tell me if this is clear, like why I think I carry mental load. You can tell me if you do the same, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is unfortunately a gripe about my husband, but he's heard this one 5,000 times, so he can hear it. When the kids' basketball schedules come out, which is multiple basketball teams, multiple children, many games a week and practices, I sit down and take the time to put it on my calendar, all of those things that we have to know about, and I send the calendar invite to my husband. Yesterday, we're sitting, and he looks over, he goes, so what time's that game today? And I was like, I literally will have to pick up my phone and look at the calendar the same way you would.
Uh-huh.
And not only did I do the work to make sure that information was available to you, even though you got the email too and could have put it on your own damn calendar, you're asking me. And his annoyance and frustration is, well, you could just say, I don't know. Or you could just tell me if you do know. You don't have to make it this big thing. And I'm like, but you don't get it. It's that I have to be aware of so many things. Like if there's no toilet paper left in the house, no one else is going to go buy it. I could sit there and just be like, we're going to play chicken and we'll just keep letting it go.
To see who has to walk out the house.
Who's going to eventually have poop and on their butt need toilet paper.
Yeah.
So I have to be aware of all these things. And then I also have to answer questions that you could answer for yourself. So, okay, that's my rant for the morning.
Yes.
Tell me, have you felt this before?
I think I'm the contributor of that.
I don't think so.
Oh,
No.
no. Oh, no. I literally will say to my husband, honey, what is the weather outside when I'm standing next to the door? And I, it's interesting. I'm not excusing it. I am absolutely not excusing it. I think what happens in some relationships, and of course, there's the home relationship, there's the work relationship. We'll get to the work side a little bit different. Is I think I use my husband as I'm thinking aloud. If I were by myself, I would just put weather and I would look, but he's there and I think aloud and he would be like, well, I mean, your phone is equally as in distance as mine, or how about open the door? And part of it, I think, is a lack of respect towards taking responsibility for things. I think it's like that's like if you peel it back and presuming that the other person is just going to step up, which goes to the toilet paper thing. But I actually think that I'm the one in the relationship who causes that stress on my spouse. I'm like Oj in that relationship.
Oh, well, you got to knock it the fuck off. It's not nice.
Oh my God, you're my husband's new favorite person.
I mean, I think the other thing was My parents are more needy than they used to be, right? I get where's the Peacock app on my TV? And I'm like, how could I even begin to tell you? I'm not in your house and I can't see your TV. And you just have to search or you have to try. And I talked to my mom about this. She's not going to be offended because I mentioned this morning that it's not that I mean, they could figure some of these things out for themselves, but they would not be that big of a deal if there weren't all these other people doing it.
Yeah.
It's that it's so much. So I used to have this big poster on my door at my office, and it was from Ronan's kindergarten teacher, Mrs. D'Addario. I loved her so much. Declan had her too. But she had a sign that said, three before me. And she wanted you to try three ways to solve your problem before you went to her. And if you had done three things, no problem. She would happily help you out, answer your question, whatever. But you had to come prepared to explain what your three ways were that you had truly tried. Had you Googled it? Had you, looked it up in a book? Had you done whatever you needed to do? Um, and so I had that in my office because I found that people were just very quick to be like, where is that again? How do I find that? And there are times I will tell you where my team is like, Christine just asked me where this file is in Google Drive, and I can guarantee she didn't just search for it. So I can be blamed too. But overall, I think there is something to that self-sufficiency. And then having if somebody came to me and said, I tried these three things, I cannot figure this out.
Yeah.
I cannot then make them feel guilty about it. I cannot be annoyed by it. That's part of the deal. Now I need to be pleasant and say, all right, let's see how I can be a helper in this.
I have to tell you, I am the most atrocious committer of this. I mean, I will ask my team, I know you sent this to me 2 days ago. Can you put it back at the top of my inbox? Rather than search for it and find it. And I'm not saying to my defense, but I do think that sometimes, I'm not going to make an excuse for Oj, and I'm certainly not going to make an excuse for your team members on this, but I do think sometimes I'm moving so quickly that if I were to stop to look for something, I actually lose that creativity piece on my brain. And, I'm not saying that because I'm remembering that my husband gets upset that he kind of like his accusation is, oh, do you think you're better than me? And you don't have to
Yeah.
find and I'm like, no, I just think that, I'm batting more balls out of the batting cage. I'm not complaining about it. I'm just like, this is a way that I'm looking for support. So,
But just remember, every person that you stop, you're stopping their creativity and their.
well, that's a really good point. And I mean, I think it is worth me having a meeting with my folks saying, what are you comfortable with me stopping and asking? Because they're my employees. And so they don't like,
Push back. Right. They're going to do what you ask.
But I'm wondering if they're like, oh, Jesus, look in your fucking search thing and look for that name and find it yourself. Because I'm not a shitty person.
Some people need to learn how to use their search and their email a little more than others. Some people don't know how to use it.
Well, and some of us don't have technology or technology set up in a good way, but you and I are going to solve that. I also think, and I'm not saying that this is what you're doing with Oj or what Gio's doing with me or what my team is, but there is some enabling that happens on this. Because if I'm by myself or I'm in a situation where I've had some team members down, I've had some folks that are sick, I have some folks take some personal leave. It is amazing what I will step up and do when I don't have people around me.
Yeah.
I just love the support though.
I know. And I think also one of the things that is a setup for failure for the folks that are asking a lot of me and putting the mental load on me is the fact that I have a standard and I will tell you how you did it wrong pretty easily. So there is a little bit of me setting them up for failure, right? So if he doesn't ask on certain things, then he'll say, well, then you'll tell me that I didn't do it the way you wanted it and you're annoyed and blah, blah, blah. And that's one of those things that I do try to work on. Like back when he would put the diapers on the kids backwards, trying not to lose my cool and be like, how could you be so stupid? Never change a diaper again. I'll do them all, to
because that's totally that is totally enabling behavior, right? That's like, yeah.
Yeah. So that is a tricky one. That's a tricky one when you're a critical person and you have a standard and then you're annoyed when people come to you to double check what your standard
I
is gonna be.
definitely, I mean, even though I contribute to mental load, I do understand what that means because I'm the breadwinner in the family and my husband's retired. And he, does takes care of, let me tell you, even though he's retired, he cooks all the meals, does all the grocery, he takes care of basically everything with the house, and he takes care of me. He helps me with work. But there are times when there's a lot going on work-wise, and you guys know right now I'm going through some pretty significant things work-wise, that I just like it, just so much coming at me at one time that the littlest thing can be like the straw that broke the camel's back. And so I do think that the mental load piece is very real. And I think, that there is a little bit of I don't want to say victimize, like me, like setting myself up to be a victim, but I
Mhm.
do think that the boundaries that, Christine, you'll probably have to set up, like, nope, not going to help you that one. You just say
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
No. And then for me, it is like intentionally shutting off and saying, I have to recover, get away, and
Right.
not be worried about, what that implication is, because ultimately we are responsible for our own mental load.
Right.
I mean, that's really what it comes down to. We are responsible. We have our
Yeah.
own little dump trucks in our head, and once it gets to be too much, we got to dump it out, and then before we fill it back up again, we probably need to take a rest. Um,
Yeah. Well,
but
women tend to be the victims of mental load,
yeah,
because of traditional home roles, right? So, you're in a nice spot where you've kind of been able to turn that on its head in these recent years, but the other way around too, where you're the raising the children, keeping the house, and working the job. And I think that's oftentimes why women are just really frustrated with not only the physical load, but the mental load.
yeah,
And so I think you're right. Setting boundaries, using that I think I told you about the fair play where you actually divide up the household duties in cards, playing cards. I
yeah.
actually asked the other day, oh, so I do the grocery shopping, and Oj went to the grocery store yesterday because he was like craving Brussels sprouts, and I was like, well, if you're gonna go, do you mind just getting all the things on my list? And he's like, sure, I'd love to. And he does not do the grocery shopping. Period. I do it. And he came home and he's putting everything away. And I was like, oh, this was really nice. Do you want to take over grocery shopping? And he said, yeah. Do you want to take the taxes card back? And I went, nope, nope, nope. Absolutely good. I'm going to keep that grocery shopping card. You're absolutely right. No, thank
Now,
you.
that
I
was
don't want to
actually
pay.
good because you actually got to, what is the process for this? I'm happy we'll give that to you, but you're going to have to take something from me. Yeah.
Yeah, nope. He's got trash and he's got taxes. And those two things are the two I do not want ever back in my hand. And I've had them, but I don't want them
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and
yeah.
I think what you bring up is that there's a conscientiousness about the way we operate through the world, and the relation how the relationships are impacted when that conscientiousness is either tuned up higher versus tuned down lower. And it's hard. I mean, it's hard not to get into a selfish mode, particularly when you're in kind of self-preservation mode. But it is worthwhile if we are kind of measuring our happiness by the relationships we have the most, or are the closest to us. We do have a responsibility. And I did actually hear something very interesting that it's not totally connected by mental load, but it was talking about happiness. And
Mhm.
I actually took this to heart, that apparently a person's happiness is, and I don't know what the percentage is, it's worth actually looking this up, um, impacted dramatically by their boss.
Oh,
Yep. So I thought, this is really important for me, because if I can, one, be the type of boss that creates an environment so they can be happy, or I can be the type of boss that, like triggers them not to be happy, like that's a big responsibility. So that kind of gave me thinking, not that I'm trying to please everyone and not be a good leader in my organization, but
right.
it did like in terms of enabling and making sure my team is happy with the division of labor, or at least they understand the division of labor, because you can't be happy with all your responsibilities. That I've learned
Sure.
from you, Christine, that
That's
you
right.
can't always do what you love in your job. Sometimes you have to do what needs to get done. I
Yes.
do think the mental load piece, you're absolutely right that it falls on us, but it also falls on them. So it's a two-way
Yeah. I'm actually going to go make sure that they're all happy. I mean, they have to listen to me share too much on calls and rant and rave. So there could be moments where they're like, oh, dear God, here she goes again.
All they need to do is call five friends and realize what a better boss you are, and they're gonna have more patience and
Well,
appreciation.
I have the best team and they've put up with my shit for years. So, we're actually planning an offsite coming up. So, we're all in kind of excited to go away mode. So
Yeah,
that's going to be fun. But well, thank you for letting me unburden my mental load.
absolutely.
And then the next time that my husband asks me a stupid question, I'm just going to text him a link to this episode. And
Absolutely.
and I love you, honey. Thank you for putting up with me too. I don't just mean to complain about you on a podcast. I love you.
And,
All
and, and
right.
I'm going to take notes from Christine. And so when I'm standing next to the door, I'm not going to ask you what the weather is.
And Gio, I got your back.